South Africa completely dominate day one of the second test against Zimbabwe, and we're going to bring you all the action on today's show. One man stood out, and that is the captain, the standing captain, Wiaan Mulder, who scored a mammoth 264 not out. Brilliant performance by Wiaan Mulder. Hats goes off to him. He was fantastic today, but he had support, and we're going to be talking about today's innings that put South Africa very much in the driving seat going into day two. There's no other way to obviously put that. So we're going to discuss that. I'll be bringing you all the action of what took place in today's match, and we'll get straight into it because there's no time to waste with regards to that. But before we get going, before we get started, there's a couple of things I'd like you guys to please do. Subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. Smash the like button, comment, and share. And don't forget to comment in the comment section after we ended the stream as well. It's very important that you guys do so that we can get into the YouTube algorithms. I'd also like you guys to please download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen right now, as well as in the description. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics magazine, and this is your review show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about everything that happened on day one of the second test between South Africa and Zimbabwe. Now, South Africa are in complete control in this match, as I said in my intro. There's no question about that at all, and the game was pretty much set up in an interesting way, if I put it to you that way. If I explain to you guys how things transgressed from the toss to this game, you will understand 100% what I actually mean, because I do feel that this was a toss that was great to lose for South Africa. And Wiaan Mulder actually mentioned that actually as well on the show. I mean, not on the show, at the pre-match interview. So that's something that we also need to take into consideration, because, yeah, it's good when a captain understands what they want to do and how they want to go about their business also is also very, very important. So it's really nice to see that. And to know that that's the case with regards to Wiaan Mulder. And yeah, I'm going to go through all the details of this particular match and show you guys as well the screen card. Why is this not the screen card, the scorecard? Why is the scorecard on? There we go. Come on. Okay, cool. There we go. So what took place in this match? Let me get things started. So South Africa obviously lost the toss and they were put into bat first, which was quite an interesting call from the captain, I feel, particularly because this wicket didn't look like it had as much bounce in it as the first test. South Africa, it looked like a wicket that was flat and good to bat on. But we always know that first hour is always a deadly one with a new ball for any single batter. So that is something that Zimbabwe wanted to try and take advantage of, and I felt that they kind of did that. But because, like the first test, Shivanga was the one to get an early breakthrough for Zimbabwe. Tony Rizorzi guided the ball straight to Gully after 30 ball 10. He really struggled to get into the groove today. He's really looking out of form at the moment. He's not looking like he is reading the deliveries very well and getting himself into that swing of things and into that flow like we are used to when he is in form. Then debutant Lesejos and Akwane, despite getting a single early on to calm his nerves, he struggled to get going. He faced 30 deliveries without scoring without scoring before he ran a two. And then he made it to three, and that was all he could get when Wellington Masakatsa trapped him LBW. I thought perhaps if there was DRS, they might have went upstairs with that. Maybe he got a glove on it or something. But yeah, it was LBW and he had to go. And South Africa were 24 for 2 after 14 overs. Very similar to that first test match. So that's a bit of a disappointment that we couldn't get a nice, good opening stand by our openers that were selected for this match. But then David Beddingham's arrival changed the Proteas' approach. They played with more authority, more attacking, and they looked to score a lot of boundaries. And SA raced to 79 for 2 in the next 6 overs. So we were really looking like we were coming back into the game once again. And it was largely because of him and Mulder. Mulder went on to bring a half century in 55 balls, and then SA reached the 100-run mark in 26th over, and then they ended the first session on 113 for 12 at that stage, and that was a very good score to go into lunch with. Very positive from South Africa with regards to that. And then after the break, we had a little bit of a mishap, I guess. Although we did continue where we left off at first, Bedingham followed suit, bringing up his 4th test half century in 51 balls, played very well, very attacking as well. But then Mulder brought up his 3rd career century in 116 balls. He managed the highest score for South African in their first test innings as a captain. Right, that is actually ultimately what he managed to do by the end of today's play. Shortly after the pair passed the 200-run mark, Bedingham then lost his wicket. He was trapped LBW by Shavanga again. Zimbabwe's best bowler by far so far in this series. And this brought an end to the 184-run partnership between the pair. Then Lohandre Pretorius came out to the wicket, and he started to dominate like he did in the first test. SA were 208 for 3 at the time. He didn't wait around. He hit a 4 and a 6 in his first 7 balls faced. And South Africa went into tea on 243 for 3 in very much control. After tea, the Proteas continued to add to the total. Mulder continued to take charge, though. Brought up his 150 of 167 balls. Then Pretorius hit a beautiful straight drive with a sore wrist as well, to bring up his half century in 58 balls. And then South Africa passed the 350 mark with ease. And then Mulder brought up his double ton with a brilliant pull shot. In his first innings as a captain, he managed a double ton, the first ever South African captain to do so. He also managed to make his way to 2nd place for the most runs by a captain in their first test worldwide. That's the 2nd fastest 200 in history for South Africa, 214 balls, 3 balls short of Herschel Gibbs' double ton in 2003 against Pakistan. And then Pretorius lost his wicket on 78 of 87 balls. He hit 7 fours and 3 sixes. And SO were now reduced to 425 for 4. And a brilliant innings, I must say, by Wiaan Pretorius, backing up his performance in the 2nd test match. That is what you want to see from younger cricketers when they get given an opportunity. Take the chances that you get with both hands, and he did that 100%. Shavanga bowled Mulder on 247, but it was a no ball, and he went on to bring up his 250 as a result. He then went on to score the 2nd highest score as a South African captain, Graham Smith holding the record, obviously, with 277 versus England 2003. And he ended the day on 465 for 4 by the end of the day's play. They went off a little bit early. They were supposed to end at 5:30, but they went off a little bit early because of bad light. So that's the scorecard for you over there, guys. The fall of the wickets was 11 for 1 after 9.1 overs, 24 for 2 after 13.5 overs, 208 for 3 after 50.2 overs, then 425 for 4, Lohandre Pretorius, 81.1 overs. And Deva Brevis is currently at the wicket on 15 of 16 balls with Wiaan Mulder. And I also want to talk about that partnership as well. It's very important that we highlight the partnership between Mulder and Lohandre Pretorius as well, because as you can see here, 217 of 185 balls. 221 9 contributed from Mulder, and 78 contributed by Leandro Pretorius. And at the moment, Mulder and Zimbabwe was on 40 or 42 balls. From a Zimbabwe perspective, I mean, we can only really speak about one bowler, and that is Shavanga. He took 2 for 85. But every single bowler was expensive, as you can see on this particular bowler's card. So Zimbabwe really struggling to find ways to take wickets in this match. South Africa completely dominating. We expect him to go out again tomorrow and dominate again and put on more runs. I don't know by how much, when they're going to declare, at what point, how much is enough runs. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you guys think about that. When do you think South Africa should declare after their first innings? Or should they just bat out as long as they can tomorrow? But yeah, so that is what happened in the match. That's the review for this particular match. Let me get into the live chat and see what you guys have had to say. Ultimately, there's not too much to say because South Africa just completely dominated. So I've already spoken about every single detail that we could on today's show. PPG3 says, clearly seen the intent from Mulder, gone with natural instinct. Sumi says, Amlas is shaking wherever he is. And Graham Smith. Sarfa says, man, what was that from Mulder, Khalid? I knew he was going to score 100 and even score 200, but this is entering into another territory. He is doing this being a captain. He's doing this being a captain. Sumi says, yeah, I'm happy with Mulder at 3 now. Sumi, were we good or was Zimbabwe bad? I think it wasn't I don't think Zimbabwe were bad necessarily. I think this pitch is very flat. It made it very easy for them for Mulder to settle in and score runs. If you play a more attacking brand of cricket and put pressure back on the bowlers, you can score on this wicket, as you could see. So I don't necessarily think they completely played badly as a whole. But South Africa did well to put pressure on them and keep the pressure on them. So I think that's what the key to this whole game so far has been. In my times cases, that crap bowler denied my Pretorius 100. Hey. PBG3 says, I'm a bit disappointed with Tony. It will be hard to retain his place. Now, Sarfaz says, I was surprised that Coach Shukri still went for Dezozi despite it has proven that he has technical issues. I expect Senekwane to come in the place of Tony. We need to see Senekwane again in the second innings if we get a second innings. Tariq Samuddin says, no ball from Shavanga. Felt so bad for him in that moment. Me too, actually, because he bowled so well. And yes, he was expensive, and yes, he went for runs, but it was very difficult to combat Wiaan Mulder today. I think Wiaan Mulder was absolutely fantastic today. The way he approached the game, the way he performed, the shots selection from him. It's not like he got lucky at all, actually. Like every single shot was meant. I mean, only towards his 250 did he get a little bit of luck. But throughout his innings today, he was in full control. And I think that's what impressed me the most about him today at 3, is that he looked in full control. And if he can continue doing this against some of the better teams, then we have our next number 3, guys. And it would be very, very beneficial to South Africa having a number 3 that can also bowl. Sumi says, yeah, I feel he should have gone with Senekwane and Brevis to open. Burton Rania says, Harley Tony, I'm trying to be positive for the guy, but it's difficult. Is it a practice thing or just bad shot selection? I think it's a form thing. I think, yes, it's bad shot selection as well, but that comes when you are in bad form. You second guess yourself and you maybe make a decision at the last minute that's maybe the wrong one. But he hasn't looked comfortable at the crease and very confident in his approach at the crease. And that shocks me a little bit because he does have someone like Ashwell Prince there that I think has worked well with Tony in the past and helped him in the past. So it is a little bit shocking that he's going through this bad patch. I don't know what is going on with him because he isn't looking very comfortable at the crease, and that is clear to see. He is struggling a little bit. And yeah, at the moment, we know that Ryan Rickleton is the person that Coach Shukri is selecting as his opener with Aiden Markram because he played the WTC final. So it might be very difficult for Tony to get his place back now after this. Um, it is a little bit sad for me to see that. Um, so after this, we're going to have to wait and see what happens with regards to that. Um, Clock says, glad Wiaan has taken the opportunity to fix that average of 22 that did not reflect his abilities. He was always a much better player than that. Should be in the 30s now and shouldn't drop below 35. King James says, I'm liking the direction of the team. A lot of the young guys will be challenging for their places in the team. Hopefully, it will motivate. Oh, I think you mean motivate established players to perform and benefit the team overall. Sharfa says, I was expecting Zubair to take David Bellingham's place as he was not good, but he has cashed in on the trust that the coach Shukri put in him. But I wanted to see Zubair Hamza batting. Yeah, it's a bit sad one that Zubair is just on there as for a trip on the plane. He never got a chance to play. That he's not going to get a chance to play. That is quite sad. PPG3 says this would give some good confidence to Mulder before the big subcontinent tours. PPG3 says thanks to Shukri for retaining Mulder at 3. Clock 600 plus and don't bat again. Safa says Khalid, can Mulder break Graham Smith's record of 277 tomorrow? It's very possible. He's on 264, not out, so he's not far away. So that is very, very, very possible. Burton says we can declare when Brevers gets a ton. JLRSA says off topic, but what is your opinion on the proposed two-tier test system? I rather prefer. I mean, I guess it's. I don't really have an opinion on it yet. I have to really look at it and analyze it properly. But it does having two tiers, etc., makes it interesting, makes the competition a little bit more interesting. What would be nice though, but it's probably not possible. There's not enough time in the year or in the 2-year cycle to do it. But I would like to see like everybody play everybody. Like everybody plays everybody maybe over a 2-year cycle. But that's not possible, of course. So the way things are going to be at the moment is just how it is. In my time scale says the Pretorius would be sitting on 100 currently if that bowler didn't throw the ball. I hope his hand is good. Clock says Wiaan looks like a guy who thrives on responsibility. There's more responsibilities given them than he steps up. Shukri has to take the credit for this as well. 100% Coach Shukri has to get the effort. Has to get credit for the way he's found players and integrated them into the squad and made them believe in their abilities. Mohammed Amin says go for Laura's record. PBG3 says good chance for Mulder to score second triple ton for SA. 311 should be in mind. Good luck. In my time square says Pretoria should open in white ball at the moment. Khalid, I've seen enough now. Dennis Pilgrim says Mulder, you are like the rock of Gibraltar. Rock of in my task case is Khalid, do you have an idea about current CSA financials? Will we be able to play 4 or 5 series after 2027? I don't know what the current financials are. They haven't updated us on that yet. So we're still waiting to see what that's all about. It should be down. From the last time I heard, we were still like 700 mil in debt. And then since then, we've had, I think, 2 seasons of SA20. So we should be, that should have depleted a lot. So I'm not sure how much we are in debt right now. Don't take my word for what I said here. It's just from what I heard way before. Clark says felt for Lasejo didn't do too much wrong before that shot. He looked okay for me, very organized in the context of an opener to see off the new ball. He was leaving while outside off. Dennis says Tony needs to focus more on his challenges to retain his place in the team. He's a good player, needs to step up his game. Sarfaz says, man, is a good day for me. India might be closing on a win in Edgbaston and SA doing so well. Mohammed Amin says, do you think Luandre is locked in the strongest 11 and in place of who? That's a tricky one for me because I think that I don't think his performances only in this match should cement his spot in the 11. He should be someone that is going to be knocking on the door. I think he'll be competing with the likes of Tristan Stubbs for position in the side, and then we're going to have to see how Coach Shukri integrates him, Luandre, into this team. I think they still have a lot of game time that they can still have at domestic cricket, to hone their skills, etc. At the moment, Luandre is playing off amazing confidence, and everything that he's touching is turning to gold at the moment. No matter what format he plays, no matter what team he plays for, he's just in an immense run of form at the moment. So I think they need to give him more innings for him to see at domestic level. I feel to see how he handles failure, because you are bound to fail at some point. You're not going to be scoring 50s and 60s and hundreds every single game. So how you bounce back from a bad patch of form, like Tony right now, if he can, how he's going to get out of this bad patch of form. That's what truly tells you about the player's character and what their mentality is like. JLRSA, assuming Pretorius keeps going along as he does now, when do you think would be an appropriate time for him to be a regular 11 for the Proteas? Red, white, or both? I think white ball is probably, I think I would rather take a risk with him first in white ball than play him in a test match right now against top opposition that are in the world test rankings, in the top slots in the world test rankings. Because I'm still a fan and I believe in Tristan Stubbs. And that's mainly my reason for this. When it comes to the Luandre story, I'm a big fan of Luandre, and I think it's brilliant that we got to see him play test cricket. But I feel him, Deerwald, Kwena Mapaka, all of those youngsters, I feel that they must play more first-class cricket, a lot more first-class cricket. But if Tristan Stubbs is struggling and he can't get himself out of a bad patch of form, etc., then Luandre should be next in line, in my opinion. In what time Square said, Tony and Brzezinski used to be first two batters off the bench. Now it seems like Deerwald and Pretorius will replace those two on the bench. In what time Square said, I would open with Reinhard Pretorius in white ball from very next game. Reinhard? Who's Reinhard Pretorius? Reinhard who? Van Tonder? Luandre, you mean? Do you mean Luandre Pretorius? JLRSA, which senior batters do you think are going to fizzle out first? Oh, Ryan. I'm an idiot. Ryan and Pretorius. Did I say Reinhard? Oh, guys, my brain isn't functioning right. My brain isn't in the best of spaces at the moment. JLRSA says, which senior batters do you think are going to fizzle out first to make way for the current young prospects, be it retirement, etc.? Probably Temba and because the rest of the batters aren't that old. That's the crazy thing about it. So next big question is, who's going to replace Temba Bavuma in this team? Tariq says baseball seems to be the way in test now. A run rate over 5. I mean, the next game, yeah. PBG3 says happy to see Subrayan in the team. Shukri trying good options before the important subcontinent. Yes, and I want to give credit where it's due as well. I think that Coach Shukri made good decisions with regards to selection in this particular test match because the, we are going to get to see majority of the players, almost all of them that were selected play. Unfortunately, not Lungi, and unfortunately not Zubair Hamza. We don't get to see them play. But the rest of the players are getting an opportunity and a chance to play. So, yeah, that's just unfortunately how a squad works. You know, not everybody is going to get a chance to play in a squad on a tour. Um, in my task, I only see place for Pretorius is when Temba retires. I don't think any 7 batters start at WTC would be dropped. Yeah, and I mean, it is a World Test Championship winning side, so it's difficult to drop players from a side like that. But then again, that final, if we do look at it in detail, was won by 2 batters ultimately that really performed exceptionally well, and that was obviously Temba Bavuma and Aiden Markram. So, yeah, we must take certain aspects with a pinch of salt as well. But this unit is the reason why we won the World Test Championship as a whole in the field as well, with the ball, KG and Lungi and Kesh and Wiaan and all of them put in efforts. But overall, South Africa as a unit and a culture that they're building a nice culture over here that we can be proud of. And I think that's the main thing over here from a South African standpoint. Clock says Betters missed out on a big one again today. He needs hundreds now and be that player we see for Durham beginnings. Yeah. PPG3 says he will hard job to the bowlers in this wicket. It's going to be a very difficult job. That's why I'm happy that Coach Shukri picked 2 spinners. We've got 2 spinners in this team, and we've got the spin of Deva Brevis also to help out here and there. So I think this pitch will dry out and get there will be a lot more turn in the 3rd innings or so. Brendan Shamba says, on the 3rd innings in the 3rd day. Brendan Shamba says, hi Khalid, I think Pretorius makes way for Tony in the next series in India. I think the series against them was Tony's last chance. Tariq says, the declaration, tea time tomorrow. Will be interesting to see how our bowlers go on this pitch. Yeah, and I think that the pitch is going to dry out, and I think it's going to be more conducive for spin as the game goes along. So, yeah, let's see what happens. Battle T sounds good to me. Tabo says, I'm so happy for Mulder finally fulfilling his destiny. But what happens to Stubbs now? Because Pretorius, Mulder, Bedingham, and Brevis, if he does well tomorrow. I don't think anything happens to Stubbs. I don't think Stubbs has been that terrible, though. I think he's still settling in. He hasn't necessarily played too many matches for South Africa in Test cricket for us to be calling for his head, I think. We played some difficult opponents. He's exceptionally talented, all-around player. And, I mean, he already has 250, 150 and 200s in Test cricket in 10 matches. I mean, he averages 30 in his young career. So, does he deserve to be dropped at this stage? I don't think so. So, I think Stubbsy comes back into the side, and we must just be patient with the likes of Luandre Pretorius. Brendan says, what do you think? What do you also think about using Corbin Bosch as a batter than a bowler all-rounder in the team? I mean, it doesn't really matter if you call him a batter or bowling all-rounder because he'll add depth, overall to the team regardless. As long as he performs when he gets the chance to bat, having Corbin Bosch available now gives us a very long tail. We can pick teams till 9 at the moment. So it could be that heavily batting orientated. It could be that heavy with regards to the batting side where to the point where Keshav could even bat at 10 or 11. That's how many all-rounders we're producing at the moment in the side. So, like, this is a very strong group of test players that we are bringing up and building. JL RSA says, thank you so much for streaming these lives. It's really nice getting to pick your brain and get commentary on this stuff. Thank you so much for joining in and tuning in and watching the show. I really appreciate the support, everyone. Tabo says, I think it's over for the Zozi. Herman Golap is inevitable. I think Herman is a little bit further in the picking order now, clearly. PBG3 says, Rabada Marco, who should be the third seamers in your mind? Lungi's fitness, not sure not so good for Red Bull. Rabada Marco. Well, if Nandre comes back, that will be great to have a left arm fast bowler like at that pace that can swing the ball both ways. So I think Nandre should work his way back into fitness and into contention. But the way Wiaan Mulder's been performing at the moment, he will make it. He will put a little bit more pressure on the coach because he takes a spot as an all-rounder, but also as a top order batter now. In what case, his Stubbs only had bad Pakistan series. Strange that people question him. Clock says what Tristan needs is clarity. It's important to look what it has done for Wiaan Mulder. Clock says what I mean about clarity is having a special role. He is a 3, 5, or 6. Moving him up and down won't help his development. Jacques says ideally third seamer would be Nokia. Ideally, yes, but I don't think Nokia is available, so it will probably have to be Nandre Berger. And then Gerald and Corbin are other options as well. Gerald needs to get back to fitness again. I really like what I've seen from Cody Yusuf. Let's see how he bowls on this pitch because it's going to be very difficult on this pitch for him to bowl because there's not a lot of bounce on offer in this pitch, but that suits Cody Yusuf, I think, because he's not necessarily a bounce bowler. He's more of a hit your line and length bowler and gets movement from that. Safa says SMA have the best all-rounders in Test cricket now. I think Corbin will be motivated to one-up Mulder after seeing Mulder's performance. Yeah, I mean, Corbin has been excellent in this Test series as well. So let's see how he performs in the second Test match. I hope he does well. But I hope we get enough. I hope we give ourselves enough chance to see everybody bat. Give Mulder, give Deva the opportunity because he scored so much runs on day one. I mean, we can bat at least till day 2 and still wrap this game up early. So to the end of day 2 or till T on day 2. So I would like to see that so we can get to see majority of the players bat. I want to also see Zabrayan and Mutasami bat as well. If we get to that, if we even get that far. Because I mean, ultimately they're not only in the team for spin, they're also in the team for the way they bat. PPG3 says reversing would be very important in subcontinent, Pakistan and India. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking of an Andre Berger type player. Shock says Mulder 400. Let's see how far Mulder gets. Can he break Graham Smith's record is the big question, ultimately. Can he break Graham Smith's record? Graham Smith's record is 277 against England. And he has now beaten Graham Smith's record of 259. Graham Smith's name is just on it's just like on that list of captains. His list is everywhere. His name is everywhere. But yeah, he's creeping up to. He's now one of the highest scorers in South African cricket. Actually, one of the highest scores in South African cricket in general. Not only just as in South Africa's list. Not only just as a captain. Where does he sit now? Let me see. Plus, obviously, 311 is the highest. Imamla, then Abel Villiers 278, and Graham Smith 277, and Daryl Cullen 275, Gary Kirsten 275, Graham Pollock 274. So he's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's seventh now on the list. Yeah, he's seventh now on the list, Wiaan Mulder. So that's good company to be in, eh? I mean, he's really transformed his game ultimately. Really has as the number 3 batter. Clark says pitch may be batting friendly, but I still think we have a better bowling attack. We should be bat twice here. It tells you how good Graham Smith was, says Sarfaz. PBG3 says, love to see George Linder too in the red ball squad in subcontinent. Excited to see him back in T20. I hope he would get his place in all formats. Tex says, important knock from 82. He needed that from Bedingham. From Bedingham, you corrected yourself. Clark says, Zimbabwe aren't exactly stocked from a batting point of view. It's only 2 or 3 decent batters. Yeah, they've had a couple of injuries as well. That has really stalled them, etc. So that has been a bit of a letdown from a Zimbabwe perspective. Mulder and the rest of the batters made some bowlers look like what? But Tezosi made them look like prime Australia. Seeing Smith's whole SA career, he was best red ball captain ever played the game, says PBG3. I like the way Faf captains, but personally, but okay. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell for all future videos, please. Smash the like button, comment and share. Don't forget to comment after we've ended the stream as well. Very important for the YouTube algorithm. And I'll see you guys all again tomorrow with another review show. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And peace out, everyone.